common question that I receive, not so much from prospective clients, but just from meeting people out in the world is, what advice would you give someone that is getting married? And I always say, number one, you have to treat the marriage as a business proposition. Okay, I'm a divorce lawyer. My practice is extremely busy. I don't have to do bankruptcy, I don't have to do personal injury, I don't have to do criminal defense, because a lot of marriages fail. That's just the reality. A marriage is no longer a taboo to get a divorce. It's very normal. So my advice is, go into the marriage with an open heart, an open mind, but also realize that it might fail. And if it fails, then this is the number one advice that I give. Get a prenup. Protect the assets that you currently have or that you anticipate having in the future. If you have a business, you want to protect it. If you are going to open a business and you're going to be using your money to open that business, protect it. Put it all in a prenuptial agreement. Make sure that when you do have that prenup and you do get married, that you don't commingle the funds. Keep everything separate, put it in a prenup. And now let's talk briefly about what is going to make your prenuptial agreement effective. We want to make sure that it is done fairly, that it protects both parties. You don't want the prenup to be more in favor of you, or obviously more in favor of the other person. But if it's you that's asking for a prenup, you want to make sure that it's fair. You want to make sure that your assets are listed, that you want to protect, and your fiance's assets should also be listed. And you want to make sure, this is the most important part, make sure that the prenup is done with sufficient time. You don't want to do a prenup a few days before the wedding or on the day of the wedding. It's going to get thrown out if your fiance challenges that during a divorce proceeding under duress. Okay, you don't want to put pressure, you don't want to make promises, you don't want to make threats. You want it to be fair. Hey, we're getting a prenup, I need to protect this. This is what we're doing. And you want to do it with sufficient time. And if your fiance wants to get an attorney and you're the only one that can afford an attorney, hire one for him or her. Hire one for yourself, obviously, to draft the prenup. But make sure that if your fiance wants an attorney, that you can provide one to them so that you make it fair. There's no point in getting a prenup if the prenup is going to be challenged in court and thrown out. So that's really the number one advice that I always tell anyone that I meet is treat it as a business and get a prenup. If you start a business with another person, a partner, are you going to go into business without an operational agreement, without a contract that spells out the relationship and the terms? Of course not. You would not be a smart business person if you did that. Because in the event that the business fails, you and your partner will know exactly what each of you is getting as a result of the dissolution of that business. So when you go into the marriage, you treat it the same way as a business. There's nothing but love. We're going into it with an open mind. We're gonna hope for the best. But if the worst happens, at least we already have it in writing how we're gonna resolve our case. And if you think about it, having a prenup is gonna make your divorce less expensive. So do you wanna hire me without a prenup and spend a lot more money than if you would hire me and you're already coming to me with a prenup? It's gonna make your divorce a lot more efficient. Now, one final point that you always need to remember about getting a prenuptial agreement, we cannot deal with issues involving the children. All right, so we cannot put time sharing, we can't put anything about custody, we can't put anything about child support. All right, a prenup is gonna cover alimony, whether there's gonna be alimony or whether alimony is going to be waived, and it's gonna deal with the assets and the debts that the family, that the couple is coming into the marriage with. Equitable distribution and alimony, that's it. That's what we're covering in a prenup. So that's my number one advice. Get a prenup if you're getting married. As always, thank you for watching. This is Antonio Jimenez with Florida Divorce Law Group. Goodbye.